Talking to Richard Canny, who's the CEO of Think, based in Norway, but we're here in Finland at Valmet, where the Think City is being assembled. We've just seen the assembly line. It's very inspirational. We drove the car this morning. Tell us about Think's plans for North America. I know it starts with 500 cars assembled here in Finland.
That's right, Jim. Yeah, basically a three-phase plan. It begins with 500 cars shipped from Finland to the US around the end of 2010. Then low-volume local assembly in Elkhart, Indiana, starting in the first quarter of 2011. And then we kind of increase capacity when we do an upgrade to the Think City car, kind of an all-new version of the Think City car that we're planning for mid-2012, where we'll increase capacity to about 20,000 units a year. What
might be the difference between the finished cars, the ones that are going to be imported, and the ones that will be built in Elkhart? Are there substantial differences with those?
There's a few small differences to today's European car coming for the US market, and that will be on those first cars that we ship at the end of this year, most notably top speed. You know, in Europe today we have a top speed kind of in the 60 mile an hour range, and we'll be offering in the 70 to 75 mile an hour range for the US market. And obviously some of the features like air conditioning and things like that, and we've just put in power steering kind of standard on all the European cars from this last month's production.
And we're looking at a car with a range of about 100 miles.
Yes, yeah, we think 100 miles is kind of the sweet spot in terms of the right range for EVs, and then supplementing that with the availability, if necessary, of fast charging, where you can charge an EV in as fast as 15 minutes.
Where do you think fast charging will be located? Like, where would people end up doing that?
Our belief is that 98% or 95% of all miles will be driven on EVs kind of charged at home at night using off-peak power. But for folks who need to do more than 100 miles on a particular day, there'll be perhaps 6 to 10 fast charge facilities located within a major city, or perhaps between major cities that are close by. Some may be in highway rest stops, some may be at kind of big box stores or convenience store type locations and shopping centres. And the customers would probably have to pay something of a premium, above the 2 cents a mile operating cost of an EV using off-peak charging in order to pay for the fast charge network.
In your presentation today, I got the sense that Think doesn't really see a big retail customer base developing until like the 2013, 2015 time frame, and that's as better government incentives come online.
Yeah, I think we feel the markets will be pretty focused, both in Europe and in the US, that there'll be particular kind of, geographic areas perhaps that will make that transition to a retail market, but that even still perhaps in that early stages, many of the cars will go out through some kind of corporate entity first. It might be a car sharing company like Zipcar that will take the cars to market. It may be kind of green fleets, like some of the fleets of some of the kind of, forward-thinking companies. But in those early stages, a lot of our volume, we think maybe more than 70% might be to those kind of corporate fleet markets.
Right now, the company's based in Norway, and your strongest retail market is also Norway. Why is that?
Norway was one of the leaders in not only implementing financial incentives for EVs, but also the usage incentives. And you may have seen a video of some of our customers using the bus and taxi lanes or HOV lanes in Oslo. You don't have to pay the congestion toll, which is about probably $3 or $4 a day to go in and out of the city centre. You can also get free parking for an electric vehicle. So you can
pretty
imagine,
good.
In a major urban city, that's worth a lot of money to some people.
And finally, one last question. The new car for 2012, maybe you could give us some hints of what that might be like. How will that be value added or enhanced?
Yeah, it'll be basically an all-new exterior, all-new interior car. We're not saying a whole lot more at this point, obviously, because in due course we'll reveal a concept car of it. It'll be about the same size as today's Think City. We feel that for a pure electric vehicle, although customers might like at some point to have a car that's bigger and heavier than the Think City is today, that really the sweet spot of what existing battery technology is able to deliver is a really good, high-functioning urban commuter car as a pure EV, and so we'll be staying, very much focused on that segment for the near future.
Would you add 2 seats? Would it be a 4-seater?
It'll be a full 4-seater,
okay.
Yes, and whereas today's is kind of more of a 2+2. But still within a fairly small physical package that's kind of, bigger than a smart car, substantially bigger than a smart, but still a little bit smaller than a Mini Cooper.
Thank you, Richard Canny. This is Jim Motivali reporting from Finland, and we'll be back to you soon.